One very steady tracks with the
Good morning, everyone. First of all, could I ask if you have space near you where people could come and sit, if they're standing up top, if you would just raise your hand so people know where some spots are?
down near it.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to the commencement exercises for the York School class of 2026. My name is Matt Michike, and I'm the head of York School. It is my joy and privilege to gather with you to honor this remarkable group of young people. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank all the many folks who played a part in making today's commencement possible. Our terrific facilities staff, Spencer Brook, Paul Mattingly, Jose Cardenas, and Adisa Vaughn worked tirelessly over the past week to make our campus shine and to maneuver the podium, the York letters, and other paraphernalia from one event to another. Tracy Lazama has served as our bottomless source of institutional knowledge. Dana Larson has attended to every detail with able assistance from Sateme Tar, Stephanie Gardner, and many others. It truly takes a village, and I'm deeply grateful for the members of our village and for their assistance. I'll start this morning with a simple statement that represents one of my most passionately held beliefs. The purpose of a York education is purpose. That's not to say that there aren't many other components to the process, but the discovery of one's purpose is, I believe, the ultimate goal of the learning that happens on our campus. It is perhaps useful in explaining this belief to consider two distinct models of education, the transactional and the transformational. Many of us who were not fortunate enough to attend York or a school like it had perfectly good transactional educations. We developed academic skills and habits, we were credentialed, and we moved on to the next level of learning. In thinking of this transactional model of education, I'm reminded of a famous quote by Robert F. Kennedy, Sr., who said in 1968 that GNP, or gross national product, measures everything except that which makes life worthwhile. And it can tell us everything about America except that which makes us proud that we are Americans. In this same way, a transactional education, while perfectly useful, equips the mind without engaging the heart, and forgoes the opportunity for a fuller and richer preparation for life. In simple terms, it gives the recipient the what, but not the why, and that why is purpose. A transformational education, a York education, a purpose-infused education, challenges its recipient to continually ask why. Why am I doing this work? Why have we chosen these texts? Why must I follow these rules? The space our students are given to ask these kinds of questions soon leads them into other questions. How does what I'm reading, learning, or thinking relate to my values and my sense of my place in the world? Where can I apply what I'm learning? Who might I serve within? This desire to go beyond the what is why we ask our students to take on challenging activities, such as their sophomore speeches, where they reflect on a meaningful moment in their lives as a way of gaining self-awareness. It is why we require that they engage in community service, to encourage them to understand the complexity of lives very different from their own and to experience the satisfaction of helping others. It is why we take them to Costa Rica and give them the valuably uncomfortable experience of leaving behind the familiar and beginning to consider who they are when they aren't surrounded by the comforts of home and family. It is why our teachers so often ask them to wrestle with new and sometimes unsettling ideas and to engage with their peers around concepts that challenge their preconceptions. It is a process of slow and steady evolution. They move through acquiring knowledge into applying it in meaningful ways. They move through a growing sense of themselves into how the awareness they've developed affects their relationships with others. They move through achievement into genuine engagement. The Japanese have a term, ikigai, which translates as reason for being. It represents the intersection of passion, mission, vocation, and profession, combining what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for, and is often visualized as a Venn diagram with the overlapping area in the middle representing one's purpose. In many ways, a York education is a preparation for the type of awareness captured by this concept. Members of the class of 2026, the adults in your lives, your families, and your teachers have worked hard to provide you with this kind of transformational education. Today, we ask that you take what started here and strive to live lives of purpose and consequence that will make the world a better place. Soar, Falcons, soar. We will now hear a welcome address from the York Student Body President, Xinyao Zhang.
Hi, everyone. Hello. There's always people around you extending kindness towards you. And it could be a pretty small gesture, like a hi or a quick check-in. Sometimes maybe it could be big, that they put crazy time and effort forward for you. But I promise you, the kindness is always there, and you just have to see it and seize it. I'm really feeling incredibly lucky right now. It seems to me that there are so many things that are out of my control, and so many of those things have to work out right for me to be standing here as your student body president, giving you a little speech. I was fortunate enough that the universe's plot, the one that got me here in this first place, started with my amazing parents. Let's go back in time for a bit. It was the final of my 8th grade year, and I was working really hard so I could end my year strong. One day, my mom brought it up to me. She was like, 瑶瑶，你要不去美国读高中吧? In English, 瑶瑶, what do you think about going to high school in America? I really didn't believe it. I was like, oh, brother, it's final weeks. I really gotta lock in. Like, why would you do this to me? And she kept bringing it up again and again. Then, in only 2 days, I began to prepare all the application materials. By the end of my final weeks of school, I knew that I was going to York next year. So, if you ever wonder why Xinyao can balance so many things at once, she's been well trained by her mother. Give it up to my mom, everyone. Our family, your balls. Our family then made promises that we're gonna call each other at least twice a week. It ended up being way less, and no matter how hard I tried, they have only really seen me through snapshots of my life. A photo here, a text message there, a FaceTime call that lasts 2 hours, a quiet concert in Hacienda, the happy family group chat that we know. I can't comprehend the sacrifice they've made. Not only the money, but the daily not getting to know all parts of me, all to support my growth. My mom, my dad, and my brother have sacrificed so much to get me here. I'll never forget their sacrifice, and I'm truly in awe of their foresight and their trust in this process. I would have never had the courage to come to York had my brilliant brother not forged the path before me. He's a genius who studied at UC Berkeley and a lot of other things. He's always there for me and has to deal with my countless crash out over the years. I love you so much, my brother. It was really hard when I had to say goodbye to my classmate and friends in China. We spent almost 8 years taking the same class together. I was lost and wrestling with what kind of persona I want to present to York. And I have to thank Hedy, Chris, Jason, and Jaden for being my first home in America. And she's right there. I was lost and wrestling with what kind of persona I want to present to York. so that people would like me? And how was I going to start conversation with friends with my broken English? I was terrified. I don't think I took the initiative to approach any of you and introduce myself that first year. That is why I feel extremely lucky that my day one, my twin Alice, found me and asked to sit next to me in ninth grade biology, English, and history class. Thank you, Alice, for always waiting for me outside my class, for always sharing your biology quiz list with me, for typing out whatever was being said in our world history class by our teacher into simple words so I could understand. Truly, there will never be words that I can ever use to phrase how thankful I am to you.
Sure.
You are one of the greatest human I have ever met, and I will never forget the kindness you extended to me.
Yeah.
And there are so many of you who have reached out and supported me over the years too, helping me unlock and express who I truly am. There are so many people I want to thank and express my gratitude for, but I'm overwhelmed and stuck trying to articulate it. I can't possibly thank you all. My fierce field hockey girlies, my theater friends that always make me feel like home, faculty and staff, you all know how much I love you and will miss you. This year, I was really grateful for all the underclassmen feeling comfortable saying hi and joking around with me. That alone made me feel loved. I remember back when I was freshman, when I was so desperate, wanting people to know how funny and extrovert of a person I was when I was speaking Mandarin. I always feared speaking English for being unintentionally offensive or messing up because I didn't know the culture well enough. So it really means a lot to me that y'all allowed that part of me to emerge back up again. Many of you have described me as loving, kind, and compassionate. And thank you. But people really ask, what makes me this way? I think that the only reason that I'm loving, kind, and compassionate is that you all have been very loving, very kind, and very compassionate to me. Y'all launched me to a level that I could never imagine, and I'm lucky to say that I am a person who has been supported and fueled by countless and tireless invitation, trying again and again to loop me in, making me feel safe and seen, and allowing me to be me. And the luckiest, I know I've said luckiest 1,000 times, but I'm really feeling it. The luckiest thing that I always believe happened to me is Dan and Kelsey, my crazy white parents. For not only their love, which is already huge, but they also helped me to see all the love and kindness that was reaching out to me since the beginning. Even when I was shielding myself up from it, or doubting that people care about my struggle. Thank you for showing me the hugest extension of kindness. I love you very, very much. So, countless things had to go just right to get me to this podium. Countless kindness are what got me here. There are no words to describe my gratitude, and there's no way I could ever pay back what I received. The kindness this place has given me will always be with me, and I promise to never forget that, and I will try my best to pay it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Shinya.
Good.
I'd like to welcome to the stage the York School Chamber Choir and Choir who will perform You'll Never Walk Alone with Climb Every Mountain by Rodgers and Hammerstein, led by Spencer Williams.
Jeez. and first at
Each year, the members of the senior class choose a teacher to give the charge to their class at commencement. When you consider how eager the average 18-year-old is to hear more from the adults in their lives, the honor that this selection represents is profound. This year, the class of 2026 selected Mr. Dan Rubidoux, English teacher and senior class dean, to deliver the charge to their class.
In 10th grade, I made all of them do this, so this feels like fitting revenge. 4 years ago, I stepped onto the York campus as a teacher for the first time. One of my first encounters was with a couple of my freshman students, right up on that parking lot. Remember, AJ? They were, of course, wonderful, polite, sharp, curious. But something else struck me too, as one of them shared some critiques of my assigned summer reading. There was a resistance there, a need to understand purpose beyond just it was assigned. It wasn't oppositional or contrarian, just justified resistance. It was a great conversation. I got to know some of my students and justify my love for Madeline Miller's Circe at the same time. It was a defining moment and helped build the excitement in me to kick off my first year at a new school. And it's a good thing I enjoyed those first few encounters with these students because we were embarking on a journey of intense togetherness. They had me for 2 classes their freshman year, English and leadership, and then a faculty realignment meant they had me again for 10th grade English. That's a lot of me to put up with, so honestly, kudos to all of you for surviving it. I got a lot of opportunity to get to know them as individuals, working on their sophomore speeches, discussing texts in class, working with them as their senior dean. It's all been great. I also got to know them as a group, and that's been great too, in a different way. I promise I'm not airing any secrets when I say this class can be a bit difficult. We've talked about it a lot, actually. You should have seen what it took to plan a senior sunset. This group has a deep sense of resistance. And if I'm being honest with you, they've taken some heat for that, sometimes in ways that aren't fair. But resistance can be wonderful. Ava showed me you can resist easy readings of the work of August Wilson. Alice proved it's worth resisting a traditional academic voice for something poetic. Daniel resisted the well-established belief that you cannot write an epic speech about a sandwich. Zaina resisted my critique of a certain red Muppet. CJ resisted a simple patriotic read of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington in favor of a bolder, more introspective reading. And Rowan resisted the inevitability of not having a senior banner. The more I think about it, the more I realize how useful that resistance can be in the world these students are entering. So, class of 2026, my charge to you is this. Be resistant. Hone that instinct with focus, intention, and hope. Resist the tendency to prioritize ease over change. As we get older, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to give in to the urge to overlook injustice out of convenience. I don't worry about that with you. I've seen you stand up for what you believe in, even in the face of institutional adversity. Hone that instinct. Resist to be a force for change and justice. Resist the pressure to simplify disagreement into us versus them. You're entering a culture that is increasingly polarized, where disagreement immediately cascades into dehumanizing language and prejudiced tribalism. Hold fast to your values while building bridges, even when everyone is telling you to emphasize division. Resist the pressure to accept things the way they've been. Default bias is real, and it's often compelling to assume the way things have been is the way things should be. Challenge the process. If something isn't working, have the courage to make it better. If the old systems work perfectly, things would be perfect now. They aren't. Forge a new path. Resist the trend of performative dispassion. Nothing great was ever accomplished by someone who didn't care. You may feel pressure to hide your passions, to minimize your concern, to avoid being oversensitive or nerdy or cringe. Find others who share your passions and create communities where passion is celebrated. Let others mire themselves in acceptable apathy. Be the inspiration for a new paradigm. Opposition is easy. Resistance is hard. Resist when it matters. We need that from you. You know how to do it. Be resistant. Be better than the systems that pressure you. Be the you we already see in you. Let's do a graduation.
This past Thursday morning, the school held its annual awards and recognition ceremony. The award recipients at this event are listed in your program. At commencement, we also present 4 additional awards. I will begin with the York Parent of the Year. York School simply wouldn't be the community that it is without the dedicated efforts of our students' parents. Above and beyond tuition and philanthropy, many parents choose to serve in a variety of capacities at our school, all to the benefit of our students. We are grateful for all the York parents who support our community in this way. It is a tradition to annually honor a parent who has contributed significantly to the school over time, typically a parent of a graduating senior. This 2025-26 York Parent of the Year is someone who has been a staunch supporter of the aquatic sports at our school for some time, having coached the York swim team for the past 4 seasons and helped out when we needed with the water polo team as well. In his role as swim coach, he has faithfully driven the athletes to Santa Catalina School for daily practices and transported them to swim meets scattered far and wide among our Pacific Coast Athletic League schools. He has been an invaluable mentor to our swimmers and has brought out the best in each of them, as evidenced by the personal records they set at each and every PCAL championship while under his tutelage. Above and beyond his work with our York teams, he has initiated 2 open invitationals for all swimmers in the PCAL, the York Invitational and the PCAL Relay Invitational, 2 powerful examples of his generous support of aquatic athletes within and beyond our community. Having established himself as a pillar of the aquatic sports community in the area, he is frequently asked to be the meet starter at a myriad of swim meets, a thankless but crucially important task, and a measure of the respect and admiration he has engendered among the PCAL community. He has brought to York Aquatics his own deep commitment and has fostered a diligent work ethic and a sense of self-confidence in the athletes who've been fortunate enough to work with him. As a veteran swim parent, he must be used to being on the road at absurdly early hours of the morning, because he also volunteered this year to help with York's annual support of the Big Sur Marathon, which involved getting up before 4 a.m. and driving a van full of students down to the Point Sur Lighthouse. Happily, he has graciously offered to return as our swim coach next season, even after the departure of his son from our team. Please join me in recognizing this year's York Parent of the Year, Andy Clark, father of Sam Clark, class of 2020.
Specialist. Great.
Historically at York, the Head of School Award is presented to a student who has played a special role in the life of the school. That is certainly the case for this year's recipient. This young woman is the consummate quiet leader, and yet, as we've all come to understand, behind her outwardly reserved exterior is a steely determination and relentless persistence that have allowed her to overcome every obstacle in her path. She is the kind of young person whose presence has a powerful effect on both her peers and her teachers. One of my colleagues commented that her interactions with this young woman have had a significant impact on how I feel about this school and what makes it so special. She is the embodiment of our core values, and our resilience, steadfastness, maturity, and class are unmatched by others her age. The high esteem in which she is held by her peers led to her election as senior class president, a role in which, as was noted, she was sometimes met with disagreement, apathy, even negativity, but she never wavered or lost faith in her class, continually pressing, encouraging, uplifting, and inspiring her peers. Another teacher said, "This young lady is the real deal. I'm not sure I've ever seen someone her age approach life with the amount of poise that she does." That unusual level of self-possession could be seen in the classroom and the commons, as well as on the courts and the track, as she excelled scholastically and as part of the York athletic program. One member of the faculty captured her unique attributes by observing that she is thoughtful in two ways. She is kind, but she is also always thinking, questioning, and contemplating everything she hears and sees. These qualities make her a top academic and a great leader, and will earn her the utmost success as she continues in college and in life. Indeed, we are certain that she will continue to uplift others and build community wherever life takes her. She is, simply put, the kind of young person who gives those who know her a heightened sense of faith in the future. I'm pleased to present the Head of School Award to Asia Wilson. The Faculty Award recognizes a student who best represents the York ethos. A student who has achieved academic excellence. A student who exhibits honesty, respect, and responsibility. A student who helps build our welcoming communities. The student is selected by a vote of the faculty and staff. Presenting this year's Faculty Award is Steve Peters, York School's Director of Athletics.
This is big shoes to fill, speaking for this myriad of folks we have in our faculty. They're some of the most interesting people. So first I want to read, this person is involved in 9 things this year. Pretty amazing juggling act that this recipient did. So I want to point out sort of the menagerie of things that go on with our 9 faculty members that we can use as sort of litmus tests for what this individual's like. So we got Mr. B and his passion for history, and if you've ever gone to one of his classes and seen him act out things, it's incredible. And this student was in one of those classes, and I'm sure he shined in that class. Mr. Johnson's amazing wit as he teaches physics and statistics. You evidenced by that in our awards thing where he gave this great poem. It was fantastic, just right off the top of his head. See, I'm a minor leaguer here. Mr. Rubidoux, incredible intellect. Every day those kids get to sit with him. His passion, he loves film, he loves books, he loves video games. The guy's incredible. And he gets to mentor these kids, and these kids step right up to that bar. Miss Wilston's love of explosions in chemistry. She likes to blow stuff up, and the kids go, "This is all right. You get to learn this." This is what's so great of being here. These kids have this plate of stuff that they're going to take into the world. They know a lot about a lot of different things. And they're going to make lots of choices. They're going to have 5, 6 careers in their life. And it's all going to be interesting because they're invested. It's so great. Dr. Hannah's drive and inspiration and creativity in tinkering and robotics. This recipient was part of that program. Miss Keith's joy in carving up frogs. Who loves that, right? And other good stuff in her class. Kids are all out there with their ready to get to it. I love it. Mr. Boynton's thrill of theater, building sets, creating sound systems. This individual was part of that. Miss Nielsen's love of horror, right? Who would have known? Take her English class and you'll be scared. Dr. G's Buddhism, his love for his mankind, the way he walks the walk and talks the talk. This student was part of that. This student did 9 things this last year, right? He had honors pre-calc, he was in AP Stats, AP Bio, Mandarin 4, English 5, went on the choir trip to New York, sang in the choir, was a team leader in robotics and drove the robot. Woo! Soundboard for the last few productions of the theater, and sports. All that he's doing, and he still finds time to get in the pool and churn up and down and throw a ball around, playing water polo and swimming. So let's give this guy a huge round of applause because he really does mimic our faculty. And that is what's so cool. And his name is Rowan Fogg.
That's for you, brother. Congratulations. You're doing a great job, man. He's pretty nice spot. I have enough brought. Take blood on down looking for. Served up with that's you know.
The Nicholas Sturch Award for General Excellence is given to a senior who is excellent across a range of fields, not simply the valedictorian. It is selected by a vote of the faculty and staff. This is the school's oldest award, first given in 1965. The award recipient has their name engraved on the York Trophy that sits behind me on the awards table. This award has been named in honor of Nicholas Sturch, who started teaching at the school in 1965 and was a member of the York faculty for 45 years, inspiring hundreds and hundreds of students. During his career, Nicholas taught English, Latin, ancient history, geography, Greek, French, and art history. He also served as the faculty representative to the Board of Trustees, secretary of the board, a York soccer coach, the academic dean, and assistant to the head of school. Nicholas is also one of York's most generous lifetime donors, with 60 consecutive years of giving. I have yet to meet a York alum whose eyes don't brighten at the mention of Nicholas Sturch's name, a tribute to the affection in which he is universally held. Presenting this year's Nicholas Sturch Award is Haley Halaz of the York School Math and Science Department.
Well, Matt, you just stole part of my speech. But that's okay, it'll shorten mine a little bit. Yes, Nicholas was here from 1965 to 2010. I just want to emphasize that again, 45 years at York. And York was founded in 1959 as an all-boys Episcopalian school. So Nicholas was here throughout an incredible evolution of York. The York that he started in 1965 was not the York that he retired from in 2010. And I learned all of this from Nicholas when I met him for lunch last week. So I'm in my second year here at York, and I've heard bits and pieces of the Nicholas Sturch lore from my colleagues that worked with him, but I never had a chance to really know him myself. And I've gotten to know the award recipient quite well, so it seemed wise for me to understand the magnitude of the award and what exactly I'm passing on. And as Matt mentioned, luckily Nicholas is still very connected to York, so with the help of a colleague, I was able to convince him to meet with me. So when I asked Nicholas, what is your idea of general excellence? He replied in his English accent that has held strong all these years, well, it's exactly what it sounds like, a student that is generally excellent. Cheeky, but fair. He did go on to elaborate, a student who is generally excellent in everything they do, from academics to sports to performing arts and so on. When I rephrased the question, what defines a York student in your mind? He replied, York students are people that talk to each other. They are varied and kind. Well, there is no doubt that the recipient of this award meets all the criteria that embodies the Nicholas Sturch definition of a York student and general excellence. We might be here for the rest of the day if I attempt to impart the entire CV of this student, but I'll give you a few highlights. She has a 4.16 GPA and has consistently impressed her teachers in all of her classes. She has a passion for the performing arts and has had main roles in every York musical since her sophomore year. She's won York's Outstanding Actress Award and sings in York's Chamber Choir. She's won awards 3 years in a row for her distinguished performance on York's field hockey team. As if that's not enough, she also has a passion for the sciences and medicine, which has led her to participate in college research programs, as well as qualify and compete at the International Medical and Disease Olympiad. She even plans on double majoring in biology and the performing arts when she starts at USC next fall. And if that's all not enough, she's also served as this year's student body president. What do we think? Is she generally excellent? I could keep going. But now I want to go back to what Nicholas said about the ideal York student, the one that is kind and interested in other people. Because beyond the laundry list of accomplishments that look outstanding on paper, this student works overtime to support her peers and interact broadly with her community at York. Other students look up to her and depend on her. She is brave and outspoken, as we've already seen today, but always incredibly warm and approachable. As student body president, she worked hard to generate a space for students to share ideas and build off of those ideas. And this is actually something Nicholas mentioned to me as the reason that he stayed at York for those 45 years. That he was truly excited by the ideas constantly being shared and what was then being built as a result. So, Xinyao Zhang, I hope you take this award and keep on building a brilliant world beyond York.
As we all know, the success of York School depends on the tireless efforts of the faculty and staff. We benefit from faculty and staff who commit themselves over time to help our students succeed and thrive. Annually at commencement, we recognize faculty and staff who have served at least 5 years at York School and continue to acknowledge them at every 5-year anniversary. Today, we publicly honor them. Next week, at our end-of-year meetings, they will receive additional personal recognition. This morning, we have 5 faculty and staff to commend. As I call your name, please stand and be recognized. In honor of 10 years of service, Chris Wilcox and Michelle Lang. In honor of 15 years of service, Andrea Sinico. In honor of 20 years of service, Gerard Martin. And in honor of an astounding 40 years of service, which is hard to believe when you see the energy he brings to everything he does here, Steve Peters. Thank you all for your dedication and outstanding work, and thank you for recognizing these members of the York School faculty and staff. Now we'll have the pleasure of hearing the York School senior singers perform From Now On by Pasek and Paul, led by Spencer Williams.
Nice. He's the dog in there. Then we're gonna take, but to do this, but you see, I that too. It's what God.
just a street. It was the man I became. For years and years, I chased their cheers.
The crazy speed of always needing.
When I stop and see you, I remember who all this was for. From now on,
His eyes will not be blinded by the lights.
from now on, what's waiting for tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight. And let this promise in me start. Like an anthem in my heart. From now on. From now on. From now on. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again.
From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights.
From now on.
What's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight.
Let this promise in me start. Like an anthem in my heart. From now on. From now on. From now on. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. Home again. From now on. From now on. Home again. From now on. From now on. Home again.
The Dr. Emad Brunner Award recognizes the graduating senior with the strongest cumulative academic record of his or her class. This student is recognized as the school's valedictorian. The award is named after the founding headmaster of York School, Dr. Emad Brunner, who opened York School in 1959. Given the motivation, determination, and intelligence of our student body, rising to the top of one's class represents a tremendous achievement. It is my pleasure to introduce the winner of the class of 2026 Dr. Emad Brunner Award for Academic Excellence, our valedictorian, Alice Kapassan, who will share her thoughts with us now.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Alice Kupasan. And like my dad would say, I'm going to give you a very short and a very long speech. I'll start with the short one. Thank you. Now, on to the long one. Thank you very much. In actuality, this moment may be much grander than one or even many thank yous. This moment might represent the grand happiness I've worked towards my whole life. If you're like me, awaiting a grand happiness, you will spend your life waiting, as I have. In the coming days, weeks, months, and years, recognize that the greatest happiness will come from the most immeasurable moments. Using pizza boxes because there was no more firewood for the bonfire. Discovering a palm-sized spider in our Costa Rica room. Spending your free period talking to a teacher about your pets. Holding a box of conchas over your advisor's head to avoid the downpour. Going to hug your best friend for the last time after your valedictorian speech. I know happiness is fleeting and instant as it travels from one instance to the next. This migration of happiness is natural and inevitable, as many of you may know. This migration is natural and inevitable, unlike the destination or accumulation. Let each happiness wash over you and allow it to recede. You won't regret that you didn't collect enough happiness. You will regret that you weren't there to live in it. Live in the instant, in whatever way college and beyond may offer these instances to you. Thank you to my supportive and patient teachers who encouraged me to be the best student I could be, who stayed during tutorials in and outside of their classrooms, and who took the time and care to believe in me as both a student and a person. Thank you to my best friend Shinyao, who has always been there for me. She is the sweetest person I know, and she always laughs at my jokes, even when they're not funny. I always end up laughing too. She just has that kind of laugh. She is also one of the most talented and hardworking people I know. She could do entire AP Bio FRQs backstage after she made me cry during her solo as Fantine. Shinyao is also just that kind of person. Easy to love. I love you, Shinyao, and I'm going to miss you so much. All of you, both my friends and teachers in the past 4 years, have made me the happiest person ever. To my parents, Sophia and Sancho Kapasin, please stand. I want everyone to see you. Happiness has always come easily with you. So much of the happiness in my life can be attributed to so much sacrifice in theirs. My dad is the happiest person I know. How is this possible? After arriving in America, my dad worked 3 dialysis nursing jobs. He would finally be able to come home after I went to sleep and leave before I would wake up. His favorite things to buy were shoes, each pair more neon than the last. These shoes were also the most cushioned as he was on his feet all day. How is this possible? Maybe he approached life with the same gentleness and patience he shows me. Because in those instances where I would get to see him, he would smile and laugh so easily that you could never tell he had slept minimally, if at all, the night before. I love you so much, Dad. Ooh, I wish another plane would come by. Mom, you always taught me how to face the world and other people, and you always comforted me when I couldn't. You always asked me about my day, even if I only ever respond with good. You have always taken so much interest in me. No one knows me better than you. I think I'm very sensitive and emotional, but you have always been there for me. You have always tried to understand me, even when I made it harder than it needed to be. I love you so much, Mom. Each instance of happiness is immeasurable, so live in it, even if just for today. Like my dad would say, that was the long speech. So here's the short one. Thank you very much. Congratulations, class of 2026. Do not keep waiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. I'm the bridge between the wise words of one very soon-to-be alum and one alum in good standing. After we return from the winter break, as the school year rounds its final turn and spring is on the horizon, we begin asking ourselves who would be an appropriate person to serve as the alumni speaker at commencement. Filling this role is a more challenging task than it may at first appear. Consider the obstacles that a commencement speaker faces. They are often coming to talk to a group of young people who don't know them well, and who have had other adults filling their ears with wisdom and advice for, an hour or so before they approach the podium. In our case here at York, they are also speaking as a representative of the alumni body and trying to connect the essence of their own York experience to the insights they're sharing with the seniors. So we have high standards and high expectations for those selected for this important role. And I'm utterly confident that today's alumni speaker, Jonathan Deanda of the class of 2012, is more than up to this challenge. He is no stranger to the members of the graduating class, having worked with several of them as our boys' soccer coach over the past 2 seasons. In watching his teams perform this past winter, I saw very clearly that with his calm and understated style, he typified what we in the education profession call a warm demander, and was able to draw out the best from the athletes on his team. Indeed, they competed valiantly and successfully against opponents that often had a distinct advantage in skills and athleticism. And without exception, the young men he was coaching pulled together in ways that made them stronger as a team and made us proud as a community. Those qualities don't appear without thoughtful and dynamic mentorship and nurturing, and that's exactly what he brings to our sideline. A standout soccer player for York during his time as a student, Jonathan has built a professional life around sports, one that extends far beyond his work with our team. After graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Notre Dame de Namur University, Jonathan completed the master's program in sports management at the University of San Francisco. He has combined his passion for athletics, his sports management training, and his desire to serve his community in his work as general manager of the Salinas Regional Sports Authority. Raised by parents who immigrated from Mexico in search of better opportunities for their children, Jonathan grew up understanding the power of access, particularly access to education, mentors, and safe spaces for recreation. Soccer provided structure and guidance in his early life, but he also experienced firsthand the limitations facing many communities like Salinas: outdated facilities, pay-to-play barriers, and limited exposure to high-level opportunities. Those experiences now inform his leadership vision at the Salinas Soccer Complex, a community-centered facility serving more than 11,500 visitors each week. Jonathan has been instrumental in transforming the SRSA complex into a year-round destination for youth development, recreation, and regional sports tourism. Jonathan's achievements in this key leadership role led to his recognition as the 2025 Young Professional of the Year by the Salinas Valley Chamber of Commerce. I look forward to learning from his words today, as our soccer players have been able to do for these past 2 years. Please join me in welcoming our alumni speaker, Jonathan Deanda of the class of 2012.
Good afternoon. This looks a lot different from 2012. I think we had to scramble. It was raining and we had to move it to the gym. So this is nice. I'm soaking the sun. But yeah, good afternoon, families, faculty, staff, your community. First and foremost, my name is Jonathan Danda, but many here at York School know me as Johnny or Coach Johnny as well. So happy to be back. I want to thank Matt and thank the York team for inviting me to be here today. It really is an honor to come back as an alumnus and speak to you on such an important day. And to the class of 2026, congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah.
So I know today probably feels like a mix of emotions. You're excited, you're relieved, maybe a little nervous, and maybe some of you are thinking, man, hold on just a second to talk up. I know, I was in your seat as well. But I'll do my best to keep this short. I think when I think back at my time at York, there are a lot of memories that come to mind. The classes, dissecting the frogs, right, in this case. Yeah, exactly. The classes. The planes, the friendships, the campus, and I think, of course, for me, soccer. But the thing that has stayed with me the most is something very simple, and it's been repeated multiple times. It's honesty, respect, and responsibility. At York, those words were repeated many times, and at the time, I understood them, but probably in the way that a high school student understands them, right? I knew they mattered, and I knew they were a part of our culture, but I didn't think I fully understood how much those values would follow me after graduation as well. Because values are easy. Because values are easy to repeat when life is going well, but they become real when things get tough. Honesty sounds simple until you have to be honest with yourself about what you don't know, where you're falling short, or what kind of a person you want to become. Respect sounds simple until you have to work with people who think differently than you, listen before assuming you already have all the answers, and lead with humility.
Next.
Responsibility sounds simple until people are actually counting on you. After graduating from York, I didn't have everything figured out. And I don't think most people do, even if they pretend that they do. But I kept coming back to the lessons that I learned here at York. Soccer has been a big part of that for me. It's taught me that talent alone isn't enough. You have to show up, you have to work, you have to be coachable, you have to deal with failure, pick yourself back up, and most importantly, you have to learn how to be part of something bigger than yourself. Years later, I had the opportunity to come back to York as a boys York soccer coach. And that meant a lot to me because I wasn't just returning to the school that I graduated from. I was returning to a place that helped me shaped me into the man that I am today. And coaching reminded me that leading is not about having all of the answers. It's about caring enough to help those around you. Sometimes that means encouraging someone. Sometimes it means challenging them, right, Silva? Sometimes it's telling them the truth, even when things are not as easy. Today, I work, as we mentioned earlier, as the general manager of the Salinas Regional Sports Authority, helping lead the Salinas Regional Soccer Complex, serving 11,500 weekly visitors. Yeah, 11,500, and we're only continuing to grow. Our work is about more than fields, more than just a simple game and events. It's about creating a place where families can gather, where young people can play, and where communities can connect and where people feel that they belong, just like here at York School. That work has taught me something important. You don't have to wait until you're older, you're richer, you're more experienced, or you're important, to make the difference. You can start with what is in front of you today. Your team, your family, your school, your neighborhood, your community. A lot of people talk about changing the world, but sometimes that idea is so big that it becomes abstract. I think the better question is, what are you willing to take responsibility for? Because responsibility is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like staying late. Sometimes it looks like doing the work that no one sees. Sometimes it looks like admitting that you're wrong. Sometimes it looks like choosing the hardest right thing over the easier, comfortable thing. And graduates, as you move on to the next chapter of your life, you're going to have more freedom than you ever did before. I know, I was there before. And that freedom is exciting. But freedom without responsibility can be directionless. You will always have to decide, what kind of person that you want to be, because when no one is forcing you, even when no one is forcing you to do the right thing, you'll have to decide what honesty looks like for you in your life. And you will have to decide whether respect is something that you only give to people who agree with you, or something that you practice even when times are difficult. So my advice to you is not to chase the perfect plan. Plan change. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a cartoonist, a professional soccer player. Now I find myself on the other side, managing the sports complex. I think majors change, your career may change, and even the vision that you have for yourself in life may change. But your values will matter in every vision of the future that you have. Be honest enough to know yourself. Be respectful enough to learn from others. Be responsible enough to do something meaningful with the opportunities that are given to you. York has prepared you academically, but more importantly, it has given you the foundation and the base. So not the script, not the guaranteed, but the foundation, and what you build on top of that is what's really important. So as you leave York School, I hope that you carry those words with you, like I have. Honesty, respect, and responsibility. Not just as words from your school, but as tools for your life. So congratulations, class of 2026. I'm proud of you, and I'm excited to see what comes next. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. If we have not yet met, I am Assistant Head of School Dana Larson. Before the members of the class of 2026 receive their diplomas, you should know that because this is a special class and because York is kind. As they walk across the stage, I will be reading a message of gratitude that each senior wrote to acknowledge that they did not get here on this journey to graduation alone. So are we ready for the fun part? Yes. Graduates, are you ready for the fun part? Here we go. Alessandra Alice Linda Gapassen. For her moment of gratitude, Alice says, "Thank you to my mom and my dad who have always supported my ambitions. I love you so much." Xinyao Zhang. Xinyao's diploma will be presented to her by her host parent and member of the York School faculty, Dr. Dan Gerska. Xinyao says, "I would like to thank Dan and Kelsey. Y'all changed my life. For good. I can confidently say that it's the luckiest thing in my life to have my 4 years memory with y'all. And of course my brother, mom, and dad who made the decision and made the sacrifice to give me the best 4 years of my life." Asia Brise Wilson. To my family, who I think are sitting right about there. Thank you for being my foundation, my support system, and my motivation every single day, and especially to my mom. Thank you for everything you've sacrificed to get me here. Your strength, your love, and everything you've done behind the scenes mean more to me than I can ever put into words. This moment is just as much yours as it is mine. Jenna Nicole Alanis Perez. Jenna wants to thank her mom, Sandra, and her dad, Tavo, who have always been there for her no matter what, always supporting her and believing in her. Her sister Jocelyn and godmother Carla for being people she could count on. Her dog Wally for always being there and making the hardest days feel better. And to her friends, family, and teachers, thank you for being such an important part of my life. Neely Adeline Biblars. For her moment of gratitude, Neely says, thank you to my family. You've been my light when everything felt dark and the voices that told me to keep going when I wanted to give up. Thank you for being by my side unconditionally. Atticus Kingsley Irish Rousseau. Atticus would like to thank his parents for their unwavering support in helping him chase his dreams and giving him the opportunity to attend York. He would also like to thank Ms. Williston for helping him survive chemistry. Alice Marie Booper. Alice is extremely grateful for Dr. G. She states he's my favorite teacher and I love the environment he curates in his classroom and how he treats his students with respect and kindness. I will miss his classes and energy on campus immensely when I leave here. Daniel Tazio Campos. Daniel says, I want to thank my mother, Lena Estrada, and my dad, Jerry Campos, for helping me and being there for me throughout my time at York. From helping me with homework to being there when I needed to talk to someone, both of you have helped me succeed in ways I never thought possible. Finn Orion Casey. I should have done a York pause there. My apologies. Finn says that he is so grateful for his loving family who have supported him in every way they could. He says, thank you for giving me the opportunity to follow my interests and passions. Love you guys. Heather Chaudhry. Here is Heather's message of gratitude. To my mother and grandfather, thank you for sacrificing and doing so much for me to be here at this moment. I would not stand here without the love and support from you. Jean Hong, David Chen.
Congratulations.
David says, thank you for coming to my graduation ceremony. Over the years, no matter what happened, you've always been there to support me. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Samuel Thomas Clark. In a straightforward and heartfelt statement, student athlete Sam says, I would like to thank my parents for all the support they gave me throughout my high school academic and athletic career. Gael de la Rosa. In appreciation, Gael says, thank you to Tom and my mom for always supporting me in what I choose to do, no matter what. Zaina Seli Noor Jalab. To my family, thank you for loving me, supporting me, and standing by me through every high and low. I would not be the person I am today without your constant encouragement, sacrifices, and belief in me. And most importantly, thank you to my siblings for being my rock through every struggle and for always being there for me no matter what. I love you more than you could ever know, and I carry you with me into this next chapter. Genevieve Jen Thea Duran. Jen wants to thank her dad for working with and loving her despite her own troubles and circumstances. Jen says her dad is the definition of unconditional love, and his efforts and hard work will never go unseen by her. She says, I hope I can be nearly as respectable of an adult as he is. Rowan Jefferson Fogg. Rowan says, thank you to my parents for supporting me in everything I do. Whether I get home at 6 or midnight, they are always there offering any help they can while juggling 2 other kids. I'd also like to thank my teachers, especially Ms. Nielsen and Dr. G, for encouraging me to push myself into new subjects. And finally, thank you to my friends for making me want to show up every morning. Ava Marie Claire Hoffmeister. Ava says, thank you, Mom, Dad, Zola, the rest of my family, my friends, teachers, and everyone who was on this journey with me. Now we're going to pretend there's a plane flying overhead.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done.
I'm on big. Thanks. Wow. Here's the
Thomas Joseph Houston.
Congratulations. Thanks. Thank you.
Thomas would like to take this moment to say thank you, a sincere thank you to his friends for helping him whenever he had trouble.
Let's super hey.
Alicia Marie Kennedy. For this moment, Alicia says, thank you to God and to my parents, and thank you to Mr. Williams for always supporting and believing in me. Kristen Kayla Lee. Kristen would like to thank her parents for always believing in her and sticking by her. To her Kiwi, to her best friend, thank you for making me laugh over the smallest things and for always being honest with me when I needed it most. To all the friends she has made here, you've made this experience a lot more memorable and fun than she expected. And thank you to her teachers. Thank you for your patience, your effort, and helping me get through school. Matthew Song-Young Lee. Matthew says, to my teachers, friends, and family, thank you for supporting me throughout the past 4 years. I never would have made it this far without you all, and I hope I'm able to convey even a millionth of my gratitude with these words. 5, 10, 20 years from now and longer, I'll be able to look back to today and smile because of you all. Again, thank you. Yun Hao Eric Lee. Eric says, I would like to thank the teachers at York and my host family, who are always very helpful and friendly to me. Also, my friends for being funny and supportive. It was very important to me throughout my 3 years here at York. Zifeng Howard Lee. For his expression of gratitude, Howard states, I'm extremely grateful to my host family for taking care of me throughout the years. They treated me like a family member. Jakaya LeKay McMahon. Jakaya says, to Mom, Tia, and Big Girl, thank you for everything you did for me. I love you all so much. And to my Nana, Hang on, we're gonna wait for this play to pass. And to my Nana, I did it. Rest in paradise. I love you. You say Irene T. Unfortunately, Irene could not be here with us today because she had to return to China. But she would like to express her deepest gratitude and thanks to her mother. Throughout Irene's time at York, her mother was her quiet strength, always supporting her with patience, love, and endless encouragement. Irene says, "Thank you for being my foundation, my comfort, and my greatest source of strength." Liuzzi Julia Rao. I am thankful for Simone, my host parents, Jay and Rachel, my friend Chloe, my parents, and all my teachers. I know the band is dying to make a sound and they're not doing it. They keep looking at me like they want to.
If you did that, you'll know.
Justin Alexander Robles. Justin says, "To everyone who has poured into my life, my friends, family, and mentors, thank you. But above all, thank you to my parents who sacrificed so much so I could stand on this stage today. This diploma is not just mine, it is yours too, and I am forever grateful." Diego Aaron Silva Aguero. Diego says, "I would like to thank everyone who supported me, my mom, dad, friends, and teachers. Truly, thank you for everything." Alexander Jan Simpson. From Alexander, "I want to say thank you to my friends at York and outside of York for making these last few years some of the most fun of my life. My grandparents for always being with me throughout high school and always being there if I need help. And finally, my mom and dad for everything from the littlest things to helping me through all this and always having my back." Andre Lawrence Sukias. For his appreciation, Andre says, "Thank you to my friends and family for their unwavering support over the past 4 years. I would not be here without you." Amelia Rose Tita. For her moment of gratitude, Amelia says, "Thank you to my family for always supporting me." CJ June Gibson. CJ says, "Mom and Dad, thank you so much for all that you have worked for and sacrificed in order to get me to this point. You gave me the best childhood and have set me up for an amazing future." And adds, "Dad, you are already senile, but I promise to take good care of Mom when she gets there too." Milo B. Wood.
Tim.
A young man, a few words. For his appreciation, Milo says, "Thank you to my family, friends, and Nora, my dog." Yunhan Joey Wu. First, I want to thank my parents for always giving me the greatest help and unconditional support in everything I wanted to do. I also want to sincerely thank all of my teachers. I cannot fully express how grateful I am for everything you've done for me. During my years at York School, I have truly grown so much as a person. Finally, congratulations to the class of 2026 and happy graduation.
To offer us the class of 2026 farewell, I'd like to invite to the podium the senior class president, Asia Wilson.
Hi, everyone. So, if you ask someone to describe the class of 2026, you'd probably hear words like chaotic, independent, opinionated, maybe even a little bit too opinionated. And they would not be wrong. But before all that, I made a decision to become class president. I didn't have everything figured out. I rehearsed my speech 10 minutes before the election started. I didn't think I was the perfect candidate for it either. But because I've seen the evolution of this class from 8th grade to now, I knew my contributions were going to matter. A major part of our story is COVID. Everything was disconnected and isolated, and coming out of that, we had to figure out how to be a part of something again. How to show up, connect, and adjust. There are only 34 of us here. And when a group is this small, you don't really get to stay strangers. That could be awesome for some and terrifying for the rest. Over time, you start to notice things about people. The way someone always shows up early, the way someone else is always late, the jokes people repeat, the habits you don't think you notice until somehow you do. And beyond that, you start to understand people a little bit more. Definitely not everything, but enough to know that everyone here has gone through their own challenges, their own goals, and their own version of what these past few years have meant. We've all had completely different experiences, but we've all shared the same small space long enough to leave an impact on each other. Whether we like that or not, it showed me how different we all are. Every opinion, every personality, every perspective. They're part of what made this class what it is. And now we are at a point where that shared time is coming to an end. I don't think any of us realized how fast that would happen. I remember a moment last year when I was helping as activities coordinator and prom was coming up. Hectic is an understatement of what we were feeling at the time. The junior class president, Xinyao, and I were sitting there untangling a pile of Christmas lights that had definitely not been put away correctly. We were talking about plans for next year, and I remember saying something like, I really wish this had been organized better. And she just looked at me and said, well, next year, why don't you be in charge of that? At the time, I already knew I wanted to run for something. I just wasn't sure if being president was realistic, or if I'd have the time to do it right. But she told me I'd been one of the most helpful people, and I was the right person for the job. And for some reason, that stuck with me. And that's basically how I ended up becoming senior class president, even though I wasn't sure I'd have the time or do a great job. Like my mom says, either you get it done, or you spend your time complaining that someone else didn't do it the way you wanted. For a long time, school gave us structure. Our confusing schedule, high expectations, AP classes, extracurriculars, and unclear next steps. Even when things felt uncertain, there was always something planned for us. But what comes next isn't like that. There isn't a set schedule or a clear path, and most importantly, no Canvas assignments due at 11:59 p.m. yet. There's no single definition of what success is supposed to look like anymore. And that's something a lot of us are still getting used to. Some of us already know exactly what we want to do. Some of us are still figuring it out. And some might not even know where to start yet. And that's okay. If the last 4 years taught us anything, it is that change is inevitable. This class can adapt. Maybe not very peacefully, but we did. So instead of having everything figured out right now, maybe what matters most is how we move forward. If there's one thing I hope we take with us, it's this. Keep being independent, keep being opinionated, don't be afraid of change, and keep adapting. Because at some point, this class stopped being just opinionated or chaotic. We became people who learned how to adjust even when we didn't want to. We learned how to keep going through uncertainty, awkwardness, change, and all the moments where none of us knew what we were doing. One day, years from now, we probably won't remember every assignment, every exam, or every stressful week, but we will remember pieces of each other. the people who made us laugh the hardest, the moments that embarrassed us, the uncomfortable conversations that we didn't realize mattered so much at the time. We grew up together. But while we were busy trying to get through high school, we were also creating the memories we'll carry with us for the rest of our lives. And even if life takes us in completely different directions after today, a part of us will always be connected by this opinionated, indescribable, chaotic class of 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Seniors, congratulations. I have a few more words for you and then one very important ceremonial task for you to perform. You are now part of an impressive history of 62 York School graduating classes who have moved on from this campus to shape their communities and the wider world. We expect great things from you, and we urge you to remain connected with each other and with your alma mater, York School. As alumni, you will play a role in the stewardship of this unique institution. We will rely on your support not simply nor even primarily in financial terms, but also as guardians of the experience that happens on this campus for future York students. You have the opportunity and the obligation to make sure that the Falcons who follow you are pushed, nurtured, supported, and loved in the ways that you were during your time with us. I challenge you to challenge us to live up to the proud legacy of York School and to call us on it if and when we fall short. I encourage you as well to be models for those who have not had the privilege of attending York. You will encounter many people in your lives whose school communities did not actively instill in them the values of honesty, responsibility, respect, and compassion the way that we strive to on our campus. I hope you will show them through your words and deeds what it means to take care of those around you, to hold yourself to high standards, and to treat others with dignity and kindness. In that way, you will begin to share with the people you encounter the gifts that have been given to you by your families, who by dint of their sacrifices made a York education possible for you. To close the ceremony, I have one final task for you. On this day, individually and together as a class, you have reached the moment of confirmation of your graduation. Seniors, to confirm your status as graduates, please take your tassel from the right of your mortarboard and place it on your left. Honored guests, families, faculty, staff, and trustees, I present you with York School's graduating class of 2026.